Okay, welcome to another episode of Unique Moments, where I speak about my unique perspective. So, I've had a change of heart. I've been reformed. I've seen the light. No, not all the way, but today I want to talk about situationships from a different perspective. And maybe I would go as far as to say as this is the perspective from the view of the people who love situationships, the people who situationships work for. You're like, this is my arrangement. I love the fact that it's unconventional. I can get down with this. It fits into my lifestyle. This episode is for y'all. Or for the people who are on the other side of that situationship that quite literally don't understand why they either keep ending up in the situations or why people prefer situationships to relationships to begin with. And okay, yeah, let's get into it because my opinion has changed. My viewpoint has changed. I get it. I get it. Before, I think I was of the mind that, and I still have this viewpoint, both viewpoints exist in my brain, let's be clear. So before, the only viewpoint that I saw was that situationships they don't make any sense. It's for people who are scared of commitment, for people who just don't want to commit, people who don't want to be in the relationship, people who want to do all of the things that relationship people do, but they don't want to be in it, and people who want an out, and people who are afraid, scared, all these things. That's what I thought. People who are like childish, that grow up, like, commit, be in a relationship, do the damn thing. That was my mind. As of today, we have another viewpoint, and that's what I want to share. So now I feel like I understand the reason and the purpose why someone might prefer to be in a situationship to a traditional relationship. So to break it down, I think first let's take the obvious out of the way. They could definitely just be a fuckboy. They could definitely just be someone who is wasting your time. Let's acknowledge that viewpoint. I'm not saying that everybody is well-intentioned. There are some ill-intent people who quite literally just want to play with your time and play with your energy, and they want to have all of the perks of being with you intimately, sexually, intellectually, emotionally, physically, taking up your time and space and valuable, good energy, only to give you nothing in return, only to give you no commitment, no hope, no promise that this is going to be a thing, that this is solid, that I'm going to be with you, that, you have my word. They don't want to do none of that. Like, they just want to play games. They want to play games with your feelings. They want to play games with your time. They want to play games with your energy. And that is their intention. And those are the very ill-intent situationship people. And I think those people are quite literally afraid of commitment. I think they don't know how to be in a relationship. I think they probably have a viewpoint of relationships being confining and limiting and like a trap, and like they lost all their freedom the minute they call somebody their girlfriend, or the minute they call somebody their boyfriend. It's like they've lost all sense of freedom and all sense of self. And so the way they think they're going around that is by doing all of the actions without any of the titles. And little do they know, honey, baby boy, baby girl, it doesn't work like that. And if you are the type of human that can compartmentalize and shut off your feelings at will and turn them on at will and just be where you want to be and feel how you want to feel at any given moment, kudos to you. I applaud you, because I currently do not possess that skill. No matter how much I try to tell myself, we are not liking this person, we are not falling for this person, we are not having feelings for this person, because this is a situationship and we're not doing that and things don't go there. That shit gets overridden. That shit gets overridden for me. Like, I have no control at that point. my feelings do what they want to do, and I have a choice. Do I want to feel them, or do I want to ignore them and continue in the way that I've been going? A lot of the times we don't make the right decisions, but here we are, and we learn and we move on and we progress. So if you can do that and you're just like, yeah, this is just sex for me, it's no strings attached, I don't really like them like that, cool. Kudos to you. But in my experience, a lot of the times why situationships don't work out is because, one, we're complex people, and that's very hard to do, because it's very hard to convince yourself that you like spending time with this person. You like the time and attention that they give you. You like being in their energy. You like the way, you like the subject of conversation that you guys talk about. They please you in bed. They get you. They really see you. They support your dreams, your goals, and your passions. And you're spending time with them, and you're being intimate with them, and you're being vulnerable with them, and you're getting to know them fully, wholly, in and out. But you're convincing yourself that you don't want to be with them in a commitment. Like, there's like dissonance there. There's like cognitive dissonance there. It's like, okay. And that's what the other person on the situationship sees. The person who wants to be in a relationship with you, but they're settling for a situationship, in their mind, it's like, oh, well, we're already doing all of these things anyway. I don't necessarily need a title. I know what this is. This person knows what this is. We both know what it is. So let's just continue to move forward in that way. And then the person who is for the situationship is of the same mind, but their reasoning and justification is a little bit different. It's like, okay, yeah, I can do all these things, but I'm not committing to them. So no harm, no foul. Nobody gets hurt. This doesn't count. Basically, like, it doesn't count in your relationship box for the people that you've dated. But we all know, all my good girlies know, who have been in a situationship, that hurts the same, if not worse, than a real relationship. Whether you break up, whether you are experiencing these amazing moments together of clarity, of vulnerability, of fun, of enjoyment, of sadness, getting over them, that shit hurts almost 10 times worse than someone you were actually with. Why? I don't know. We need someone to look up the science. We need someone to look up the brain science of that. But all I know is that it hurts the same, if not worse. And so logically, to me, emotionally, it doesn't make sense. Like, situationships don't make sense. But here's where I've had the change of perspective. So I can see people being at a point in time in their life where situationships serve them instead of using them to take advantage of people. For example, say you just got out of a serious relationship, you've taken your time, you've gone to therapy, you've isolated, you've done your alone time, you've done your self-reflection, your introspection, your work on yourself, so to speak. You've done your work, and, maybe you're ready to get back out there, but not quite. Like, maybe you want to test the waters and see what's going on and, flex your dating muscles, your flirting muscles, your being with someone muscles, but you're not really ready for a full relationship yet. And I think that's okay, but I think, one, communication is key, and people don't like to be communicating in our day and age for whatever reason. We just like for the actions to speak for themselves, but like, that's not how people work. That's not how relationships work. So I think, on the one hand, if you just got out of a serious relationship, or maybe a traumatic relationship, it doesn't have to be serious, it doesn't have to be long, but maybe you went through something that cut you off and shut you off from people for a while, and you were like, okay, no, I'm good. Like, I don't want to do the whole dating thing. I don't want to do the whole relationship thing. But then this person comes along, this lovely, beautiful individual who lights that fire in you, who lights that spark, who gives you hope for humanity yet again, that, oh, everything may not be dead and all is not lost. There's a light in this world. There's a soul in this world that gets me, that sees me, and I feel comfortable with them. I feel comfortable to share my experience experiences with them. I feel comfortable to share my body with them. I feel comfortable to share my thoughts with them, which is really rare today. I think it's really rare that we feel comfortable enough to share these things with people that we're not super, super close to, or that we haven't known for a really long time. And so I think when you meet this individual, and who knows whatever they have going on, forget about that. We're just talking about you right now. You meet this individual and it's great. Like, you talk, you laugh, you have fun, you hang out, you go on dates, you have lunch, and that's good enough. Like, that's good enough for you. And it doesn't have to escalate into a full-blown relationship. It doesn't have to escalate into a full-blown, I'm going to be, your girlfriend on the path to marriage. Like, I think there are people out there dating for marriage. Shout out to you. You know what you want. You're moving forward and don't settle for anything less. But I'm speaking about the group of people who you want to get married one day. You want another commitment. You do want to be in another relationship, but for whatever reason, your heart's not ready yet. Your mind is not ready yet. You are not ready yet. And it's okay to have a person there with you. Like, I don't think they have to be your significant other or your partner necessarily for it to feel like you're taking advantage. If both parties know what's going on, I think that's the key. If both people are aware of what it is and what it's not, and when I say aware, I don't mean by action only, I mean by having an adult conversation and saying specifically what this is, what your boundaries are. Maybe you can go into the why and the details of why you're not ready for a relationship right now. But I think that's where people stop. They hear, oh, I'm not ready for a relationship right now, but I want to continue doing what we're doing. And they automatically assume that it's a toxic thing. And it doesn't have to be. I think you have to examine that person's intentions and what are they really here for and how do they treat you? Do they say that I'm not looking for a relationship right now, but I want to continue doing what we're doing, and then proceed to act in a toxic manner in situations and talking to other people and all this and all that? No, use your discernment, cut that person off. They never liked you anyway. I'm sorry to break it to you. But I think for the people who are honest and genuine and have good intentions, and they know their limits and they know their own boundaries, and they have enough self-awareness to determine that they're not ready for a grown-ass relationship right now, because relationships are a lot of work. Let's be for real. Relationships are a lot of work. It is a commitment. It's a time commitment. It's a lot. Relationships are a lot. Even if they're not romantic, they're just a lot. And so if someone is able to recognize that they're not ready for that, but they still like you enough to hold space for you in that capacity, like, why is that bad? Why is that wrong? Like, as long as there are boundaries, I think that's the thing. Because what I think people do now is people mistake the situationship for the relationship, knowing damn well these are not the same thing, but you guys want to act the same. And half of the people, you want to act like your situationship is a relationship in hopes that this person is going to make you their official girlfriend or boyfriend, or they, them, non-binary, everything is accepted here, partner, whatever you want to call it. And then I think the other people, you go along with it because, not to sound mean, but I feel like other people, like, you go along with, and I've been in this situation too, so I'm talking about myself. I think other people, you go along with the situationship out of fear of loneliness, out of lack of self-respect. It's like, oh, in the world of 2023 dating right now, it's hard to find a good person, and I know I want to be in a committed relationship, but this person doesn't want that, so I'm just gonna settle, so I don't want to be alone. Like, no. That's not the way to do it. Like, have enough self-respect, have enough confidence, have enough belief in yourself to go out there and find a relationship if that's what you really want. But I think if two people are mature enough to come to the conclusion that they don't want a full-blown relationship, but they're okay being in the situation that they're in, and it's not toxic and it's not bad, and no one's feelings are getting hurt and no one's being led on, then okay, that should be okay. I feel like no one should demonize that. No one should pathologize that. Like, it shouldn't be considered bad. And then I think the other group of people who situationships work for are like, let's be for real. People who are just busy, people who are like grinding, people who are working on themselves, people who are working on their shit. And I hear you people now like, oh, you're going to be working on yourselves for your whole life. That shouldn't be an excuse to not be in a relationship. And you should want to work on yourself with the other person so y'all can grow together. Pause. Yes, you are correct. No one has objectifications to that fact. But at the same time, I think every individual circumstance is their own personal circumstance. If I don't, again, going back to the relationships are a lot. If I don't want to work on myself while being in a relationship, I don't have to. And I think that there is beauty and there is power in growing with another person. But I think when both of y'all are ready to make that commitment, I think for people, some people, not everybody, but I think for individuals who are busy and who are working on themselves seriously, maybe you're on a healing journey, maybe you're just really invested in your career, maybe you're really invested in yourself and your likes and what you want out of life, and you just want to experience this without being responsible or without being intertwined with another person. Like, I think that's okay too. People who are just busy, like maybe you don't have time in your schedule to go on a date night or to go on 2 date nights a week or to spend time with your significant other or to be on the phone or to be on FaceTime or to check in. Like, if you're being in a healthy relationship, and not obsessive, I don't mean like talking to them every day and checking in and knowing their location and knowing where they're going and where they're at. No, that's not what I mean. I just mean, like, when you like a person and you want to be with them, you want to talk to them. You want to dedicate time to them. You want to spend time with them. You think about them. They take up mental space. They take up emotional space because you like that person. And I think when you're in a busy lifestyle where you might not even necessarily have the time to balance all of the other things, you're trying to figure out how to balance your job, how to balance going to the gym, how to balance eating right, how to balance having healthy family time, how to balance having healthy friendships, how to balance having healthy hobbies, and then you want to throw a relationship in the mix. It's not going to work. It's not going to work in the way that you want it to work. It's not going to work happily. And so I think a lot of people in that category who prefer situationships, like, they already know, like, they have enough self-awareness to know that if I were to be in a full-blown relationship with this person, what that would require, the time that I would have to dedicate to that. Either I would have to pull back from all these other areas in my life that I'm working so hard on to get myself together, to get my life together, to then feel comfortable enough to be in a relationship with someone without having to sacrifice so much for my personal life. I think situationships work for them also, because you don't have to check in and you don't have to make plans. You don't have to have a date night every Friday. You don't have to do all of these things to foster and grow the relationship. And I think you can still have that same level of intimacy with that person. I think you can still, be open with them. You can still share. You can still have all of these like personal, intimate connections that relationships do, but it takes the pressure off of how often you need to communicate with them, or if they need to go to the family function, or if you need to invite them to meet your friends, like all these little nuanced things that come with real relationships. That I think that's the thing that people don't want to do. It's like, I like this person, I like spending time with you, I like being with you, and I just want that. And I don't think that's wrong to just want that, if you're at a point in time in your life where all you can handle is that. But again, I think communication is the key. Don't just have people out here being your like filler person whenever you have a day off from your busy schedule. Like, that's messed up. Don't do that. But I think if the person is aware that you have a busy schedule and that you want to make time for them within that busy schedule, I think that's kind of sweet. And I think that's nice of you to let them know that even though you have all this stuff going on, you still want to make time to see them. And I think if they're, sensible enough, they would recognize that, oh, this person's not trying to just use me for emotional space or for physical space. They genuinely care, but wherever stage they're at in their life right now is not allowing them to advance and take that next step. And I feel like this is something that people probably experience, because I feel like I just had that mindset shift today, actually, and I was like, because my thoughts on situationships previously have not been this forgiving. I just didn't understand the point for them, but now I'm starting to see. But I think when it goes too far is when you let it drag on. Like, if you're in a situationship, and I think, okay, two things. I think when you let it drag on for an extended period of time and you're kind of in this routine that relationships mirror, and you're not taking it further, you're not putting a label, a title on it, I think it's kind of like, okay, that's where I think it can get toxic, because you're doing all of the things for an extended period of time, for 6 months or 7, 8 months. That's a long situationship. Like, to me, that's a relationship. That's getting into relationship territory. Like, if it's 6, 7, 8 months in and y'all have your little, routine, your schedule, like you met their friends, maybe you met some of their family, and you guys talk on a daily basis and you see each other on a daily basis, I think, one, a conversation should be necessary, because you shouldn't just rush in and say, well, we're doing all the things that relationships do, so let's just put a label on it. No, slow your roll. Like, I think it's worth addressing, okay, why hasn't this person put a title on it or put a label on it? And I think having that conversation after an extended period of time is what keeps it from being toxic. And you're just in this cycle of, yeah, I'm together with this person, but we're not really together and we don't have a label on it and yada, yada, yada. I think that's where shit gets confusing and complicated and borderline, like, just hurtful and toxic, because it's like you're playing with another person's time, you're playing with another person's energy. And then at that point, 6, 7, 8 months in, feelings are involved. And then you're playing with someone's feelings, and that's not cool. And we don't want to do that. And then I think another time where situationships can get toxic is when I just had the thought and I lost it. I think another time situationships can get toxic is when is the not talking to other people piece. That's a big thing. It's like, if you don't want me talking to anybody else, but you don't want to be with me, absolutely not. You have no right, no way, unless you talk about it and y'all make a little special pact agreement that, okay, we're going to exclusively be with each other and not be with anybody else, but we're not going to say that we're together. If you want to do that more power to you. If you want to do that, go ahead. That's your situation, and to each his own, and everybody can move how they want to move. But I think it's an issue when people don't want to commit and they don't want to make someone their significant other, and they don't want them to continue to explore and date other people. Because I think that's also the beauty in situationships, is you can get that closeness and that connection with one person that you might not get if you're just going on a bunch of dates to find the one, or to find someone that you want to invest your time into. And I think that one-on-one time with a situationship person can provide you that intimacy, that closeness that everyone desires. We all want that. And so I think that's a perk to that. But I think the beauty in that is, technically, if you want to, you can still go on those dates. You can still, entertain other people, and it's not considered cheating, and it's not considered wrong, and it's not considered anything, because you guys haven't made it official. And I think that's the safe zone. I think it gets in the toxic zone when people want to apply relationship rules to situationship relationships. That doesn't fly and that doesn't work. And I think that's where people have the game messed up, because there's no way you're going to tell me, someone who you refuse or do not want to at this time, for whatever reason that is within your power, for whatever reason at this time, you don't want to make it official. You don't want to make me your partner. You don't want me to be your significant other. Cool. But do not turn around in the same breath and tell me that I have to be loyal to you in this situationship when it's not a commitment. that makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense to me. And I think that's what people are trying to do. And it's like, you gotta put some action behind that. If you want to be committed to me and only me, if you want to be exclusive to me, make it a commitment. Make me your partner, make me your significant other. If not, then be okay with me going on dates with other people. Be okay with me entertaining other people. And I'm not cheating. I'm not being disloyal. I'm not doing you wrong. I'm not doing any of these things. I'm exercising my right as a human being to quite literally have fun and exist and enjoy life with the people who I connect with and the people who I have a bond with. And that's nothing's wrong with that. And so I think we just kind of have to unblur the lines a little bit, because I think that people love the like non-finiteness, and that's not the word, but the fluidity. Like, people love the fluidity of a situationship, and I can do what I want and they can do what they want, and it's not, there's no boundaries, there's no harsh lines, there's no we have to do this and we have to check in. I think that's what makes a situationship so appealing in this day and age. One, because everybody has been hurt and they have trauma, relationship trauma. Go heal your trauma so that you're getting out of these situationships and getting into real relationships with people. That's one. And then two, I think it's just appealing because we're in that day and age where it's like we just want to experience everything, and we don't want to be cut off to or limited to anything or to anyone that we want to experience. And yeah, I think that's why it works. That's why it works for some people. And whichever side you're on, maybe you're a diehard. And I think this is another conversation that we won't get into, but I think monogamy versus non-monogamy, I think that's also a big appeal, because I think someone may be into you like very much and they may like you, but maybe in their heart they're not monogamous. And I think polygamy and polyamory and open relationships, I think they're becoming more normalized and more popular today, but I truly don't think they've been integrated yet. I think people are practicing it. Do I think that people are practicing it well? No. But I think that people are coming around to the idea of not being with just one person your whole life. And so I think situationships also kind of glorify that aspect and allow you to kind of move around and to be free. Everyone wants to be free, and they think that monogamous relationships are a trap. And so I think that's just also another piece. It's like, I don't have to be tied down to this one person, this one individual. But I think that's another topic for another day. Because if at your core, you're monogamous, I feel like you're not going to put up with a situationship, because that's just not what you want. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the people who are monogamous need to be with the people who are monogamous, and not the people who are non-monogamous, but maybe they don't want to say it. Like, maybe you are polyamorous and either you don't know it, or you have like resistance to that. And so it's like, you think you're supposed to be with one person, but in your core, at your soul, you can be with multiple people at a time, and it's not overwhelming, and you can separate it and you can compartmentalize what these individuals mean to you. But I think the people who prefer to be with multiple people are getting with the people who prefer to be with one person. And I think that's where the disconnect is coming from. And I think it just comes down to knowing yourself and knowing what you want and having a conversation with either your situation or the person you want to make your partner. And I don't think it has to be that hard. I think we just blur the lines a little bit because we're afraid of, one, we're afraid of rejection, we're afraid of commitment, we're afraid of vulnerability and all these hard conversations. But I feel like until you can really address that, you can't really get clear on the status of your situation, the status of your commitment, and what you both really want from each other. So that's my little tidbit on why situationships could work, depending on who you are, depending on what stage of relationship, depending on who you are, depending on what stage of your life you're in. It's not all bad. So that's the message.